Welcome to part 2 of our dynamic golf series. Just like part 1, we're going to be focusing in on the foot today. But instead of the ankle joint, we're going to be looking at the subtalar joint. The subtalar joint, just like the ankle joint, has a big role to play in being able to harness as much power in that back hip as possible. And the more power we can harness, the further that ball is going to go on our drive or just hitting across the fairway. So let's go ahead and let's get a little bit deeper into the role that the subtalar joint plays. A lot of us have heard of what pronation and supination are, and just as a reminder, we'll kind of go through it. So that subtalar joint helps out our foot, and it helps us out by helping us pronate, which is the arch coming down, and supinate, which is the arch coming up. So we have pronation, arch coming down, and supination, arch coming up. The subtalar joint also, we can kind of take a look at the back heel bone, and it'll help us, our heel does something called everts. So when the foot comes down, when our arch comes down and we pronate, the heel is going to evert, it's going to go to the right. That calcaneal bone kicks out to the right. And then when we come out and we go into supination, when that arch lifts up, the heel bone or the calcaneal bone does something called inverts. Okay, it goes into inversion. So we have pronation and eversion, which that calcaneal bone goes to the right, and then we have supination and inversion, which is that calcaneal bone coming in toward the left. Let's learn why this is important now in the golf swing. So when I start off in my address position, and I head into my backswing, a couple things are happening. One is my arch is lifting up, it's going in, it's supinating. Also, my heel bone, or calcaneal bone, is going into inversion. It's coming in toward the left. This is a good thing. It helps us with our mobility and stability. It helps us load this back hip. However, we don't want it to go too far because the foot and the arch is actually supposed to stay in an everted position. So although we're inverting, and that arch is coming up and that heel bone's coming in, it never goes into a full inverted position. It stays in an everted position. Now here's why that's important. If we go all the way into an inverted position, so if we go through inversion all the way, and that heel bone comes in all the way, all of a sudden, or if I go a little bit too far, if I don't have enough motion or stability to stay in an everted position, I kind of lose my glue to the ground. I lose a lot of stability in my backswing. So if you feel that ball of foot or the heel lift up or even the toe coming out, all of a sudden we lose a whole bunch of stability when I'm trying to harness as much power as possible. So that stability is a really good thing, and our hip's really going to miss it if we don't give it what it wants. And if we lose that stability, we've lost a whole bunch of power in that back hip, which means we've lost a whole bunch of power in our swing. A second thing to note is just like the back foot's important, so is the front foot. Okay? Both our legs are connected by our pelvic bones. That means the front foot actually plays a role in how the back hip performs. So just like when we go into our backswing again, just like the back foot plays a big role, so does the front foot. And that front foot's going to go ahead and pronate, or go into an everted, going into eversion. Each foot needs the proper mobility and stability to make sure that we can harness as much power in this back hip in our swing as possible. And for more information or for exercises on mobility or stability for that subtalar joint, we also have conditioning drills and range drills for that subtalar joint. Go to our app, DHF Golf. That's DHF, there's a space in between, Golf, in the App Store. Thanks again for joining us, guys. We'll see you for part 3.